in the bottom right-hand corner, in the blue.
Pixel 1, FanTaSy.
And in the top right, on his map pick,
Newbie, Deer.
I'm ready. My body is ready.
Dude, the cheers in the studio for FanTaSy so much louder.
FanTaSy is a legend.
Yeah.
I talked to him a lot because I was very curious why he didn't go back to Brood War. It makes sense monetarily speaking.
Right.
And he just said he enjoyed this game more, and he's not about the streaming life. That's what he said.
Not about the streaming life. But it's so tough, I think, as a pro player to maintain that balance, right?
Yeah.
Between streaming and entertaining people
Well,
and
I think
actually
Brood
properly
War
preparing.
is like way more entertainment now, right?
Yeah, it's all the spawn matches and everything that they're doing. Yeah.
It's nice to see somebody come back to StarCraft 2 specifically.
Yeah, a great sponsor and a great message for our fans there that StarCraft 2 can't hold its own as an entertainment product.
Yeah.
Pretty early expand there from Deer, dropping that natural down already.
Yeah, I mean, why not? This map is massive.
That's true. So they've spawned on the same side. Is that?
Yeah. FanTaSy doesn't know about this yet, but he has to know it's close spawns either way. Can't be cross, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay, so he's going for the bottom left.
Okay, going the wrong way.
Cross would not make any sense if you just got to cross directly or something, maybe. I feel like this in general would favor the Terran player. But a cross, it's hard to say because warp prisms are just so good. Like,
That's true.
If your cross positions and warp prism get in your base or something, you're never going to be able to leave your side of the map. But this kind of feels like there's more of a window or like an attack path for the Terran player.
Straight up.
Yes. So I do think that this in general would not be a bad thing for the Terran. There's basically a 2 and 3 spots. Like there's 2 spots that are pretty good and 1 spot that's not very good. But I don't actually know how intricate the map spawn locations matter in this matchup. Because this is not my main matchup.
God, did you see that Stargate in the top of his base there? Oh,
yeah. The question is, does FanTaSy see that?
Yeah, I'm sure he will. I mean, there's nothing here against it yet. He is chronoing out.
He has to
one
look
of
for the
those
second
attempts,
pylon. He has to look for it.
Oh my God, he didn't go for it. Where's he going? Moving that Reaper out to the ramp of the natural.
I'm surprised he didn't look for the second pylon, but he doesn't want to lose this Reaper either.
Wow. Okay, so unscouted Stargate.
That's going to come back in.
Oh yeah, there it is. Okay.
He's just waiting for the Adept to leave, I guess.
Ah, smart timing there, obviously, from Deer.
Go in, go in. There it is. Sees it.
Okay.
Nice.
So now that you know it's a Stargate, is this going to change the game plan for either player? Is it likely?
Oh, that's huge for this to get out if it gets out fully. Because it can always come back in.
Right. Oh, wow.
It changes a little bit, obviously, because you need to be at home to not just lose.
Sure. Now we see a second barracks going down. Looks like no factory yet for FanTaSy. Third command center on the high ground?
I like this. This is great.
Wow.
I mean, like, immediately assuming that it's Stargate, you probably don't want to be too aggressive.
Right.
I mean, Phoenixes are pretty strong, especially if you're doing any tank pushes or anything like that. But you don't need to worry about being killed if you see a Stargate, right? There's nothing like a Twilight or a Robo Charge or Blink or some kind of crazy
destroy
timing.
you. Right, right. And
so,
with a bunch of Marines out, he's got to feel good about his defense as well.
Right. So feeling great about a defense and nothing really coming your way, why not take the third?
Yeah, man, especially on a huge map like Cobalt. I mean, once you get a couple tanks out as a Terran player, spread that damage out, push the Protoss back. How's the third base on Cobalt as a Terran player? Do you think it's tough to hold?
No, not particularly.
Okay.
Like there's a ledge over top, you can put tanks and stuff. We see a quick stim.
Wow, yeah.
I like this. This is a good start for FanTaSy. I don't see any way to abuse him yet, but I'm sure we'll find something later.
Yeah, third Phoenix out, fourth Phoenix on the way. How many Phoenix need to be out?
Probably like 5 or 6.
Okay, okay.
And he'll probably stop because he hasn't added a second Stargate or anything crazy.
And Robo right behind it. So yeah, just looks like a little bit of harassment going to happen here. But with this many Marines back home and a turret already, gee, Christmas.
Nothing's going to happen here, Creighton.
FanTaSy being so cautious.
Nothing. Robo and a Forge on the way. I like the Forge decision.
Nothing's going to happen.
Almost go for double Forge. Like the thing is, I don't know if Deer has picked up on how greedy this actually is, right?
Sure.
Like if you know there's a third, you see double Forge, take your third, do whatever.
Absolutely.
But you, at the same time, the Terran, or the Protoss has to be just as scared as the Terran for a lot of these 2-base timings. With such a high Marine count too, you know there's 2 racks at least.
At least, yeah. We do see the factory just about to finish here for Deer, or for FanTaSy rather. But yeah, first factory, pure Marine now. Stim, no combat shields.
Ooh, Colossus, no third base yet though.
Oh my goodness.
I like the Colossus decision. I still think he might actually be a little bit scared of a timing. Because like, I don't see why you wouldn't take your third.
Ooh, nothing in the main here. There are going to be a lot of SCVs to go down here. The Marines rallying up here, but wow, 5, 6, maybe 7? 6. Okay, 6 kills, not bad for 5 Phoenix.
No third CC scout though.
Ah, that's true.
I think this is fine. With 3 CC, like losing those SVs is annoying, but
that's true,
3
that's
CC,
true.
you can at least produce them quite quickly.
It's good to see Deer staying active with these Phoenix. So many players, you know, build 5 of them, get pushed away, and then they just kind of chill for a while. But Deer staying really active. Still is not scouted that CC, though. You're right.
It's a great spot.
Yeah.
Okay, third is down.
Okay, so both these players playing very greedy, well, very macro-oriented. We're going to see a mid to late game, to late game,
PPT.
I guess. Yeah, yeah.
I agree.
First Colossi up +1.
It's kind of interesting to see armor first, but yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Armor first?
Armor first for the Terran player. No,
he's already got +1 done.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Okay, then he has 1-1. Never mind. I was gonna say that would make.
He started his +1 when he started his stim, like right at the beginning of this. I thought he was going for like a +1 push or something.
This is good because you're just trying to match the Protoss's upgrades.
Yeah, and with only
without,
one
like,
forge down.
Heavily committing. Like if you go double engineering bay, now that is just mad. But one engineering bay, that makes a lot more sense. I was like trying to figure out like why would you go combat or armor first? This makes more sense.
All right, so third base finished up for Deer here. FanTaSy not floating his over just yet, being a little bit more cautious. And then Twilight behind this.
To see which third he takes, because I think both have, you know, merits.
Yeah, yeah. What do you weigh in your head between taking the one that's closer to the Protoss position or taking that one at the 5 o'clock?
Defensibility, right?
Right.
I don't think you want a prism bouncing between your third and your main. That would be really obnoxious.
Sure.
At least the natural's blocking that from happening. So possibly you take that CC because of that.
Good call, and that's exactly what he's doing. We can see on the minimap he's floating that CC up to that position. Okay, some cannons going down. Looks like a little expeditionary force for FanTaSy. Gonna pop to the middle of the map, but Deer ready to meet him in battle, man.
Yeah, I mean, you do not want to fight that.
No. Third Colossi on the way. Little drop coming in. The drop barely spotted. Oh, ouch. Gumi getting pushed away.
Yeah.
And that drop took the long way around like it was a Super Tramp album as well.
Look at the Phoenixes where they're positioned now. If that drop gets loaded up again, you're not in a good spot.
Protecting that island base that I'm sure Deer is eager to take at some point in this game.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the island bases taken on Gola? Okay, forcing an evacuation here out of the third. That's unfortunate as FanTaSy did just get that down. Deer doing a good job putting a lot of pressure on here.
Yeah. I actually helped design this map, and they asked me about the island bases. I said, I don't think anybody cares about the island bases, so you just leave them in. Because it'd be really weird if this was like nothing.
Yeah, right. It'd be massive open airspace. I mean, either way. That's so funny. Okay, so Templar Archives, Charge. I mean, everything you would expect to see, right?
Yeah, this game is just going on. Okay, this is a little bit bad.
Gumi. Thank goodness that island base is there.
Yeah, FanTaSy, by the way.
FanTaSy. Oh my gosh, I called him Gumi.
It's okay. They're basically the same player.
They were both playing in blue as well. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right.
And they both yeah, it's okay. I'll forgive you for that one.
They were both.
If it was like Maru and Gumi, I'd be like, how? How do you even mess this up? But FanTaSy Gumio, totally reasonable.
I kid you not, my first cast with Artosis, I called him tasteless within like the first 3 minutes.
That's a nice.
He pretended like it was a compliment, but
he was dying inside.
He didn't talk to me for an hour after that. It's embarrassing. Okay, Armory going down for the +2. FanTaSy sticking on this heavy bio style.
Look at this push, by the way. Like, who pushes through this? This is a mad push going through this choke. If these tanks were even a little bit more further forward, nothing would happen here.
Right.
Even now, like, nothing's really happening. I mean, he's getting a couple SCVs on the edge.
It feels like Deer really needs to beef up his army just a little bit. I could stand to see a couple more gateway units. Okay, he's warping in a couple more Templar now, so get those Archons in. But right now, those Colossi did look a little naked. He had him a little far forward. I was a little bit concerned.
Yeah, there's just not much room to do anything down that attack path. Like, it's a really choky. It doesn't make much sense to try, but he got something.
Both players posturing to the middle of the map. FanTaSy going to head back home and I guess defend. FanTaSy finally has that third base up, but a fourth out for Deer now. Yeah,
FanTaSy also taking a fourth. I find it very rare that we see like Terrans and Protosses just expanding at like the same rate, and like neither player goes for any commitment. Look, they're both kind of like doing the same thing. They're pushing like places they shouldn't be allowed to, and then they just back up because they realize they shouldn't be doing this.
Right through that tiny little choke on the far east side of the map.
Actually, there's a window for those Marines. Okay, here it goes. He's gonna pick them up and drop them at the third. Wait. Oh my God, Deer has some. Did you see those senses? He sees the scan at the fourth base and immediately moves his Phoenixes to intercept a drop that he didn't even know.
What an animal.
That's insane.
He's like 3 Spider-Men at the same time. Like did you watch the movie Into the Spider-Verse?
Yes.
He's like 3 of the Spider-Men with that many Spidey senses
going on.
That was insane.
Off.
Beautiful play.
Okay, fighting into this. This is a little bit crazy.
Oh man, 3 sieged up tanks, but the Charge Zealot's already on top of yours. Flanking Charge Zealots from the behind
so
as well.
important.
Drawing a lot of fire out from those Marines, allowing the Colossi to get on top of them. We see SCVs getting absolutely slaughtered here. Archon's eating a lot of danger from the top, but that third base is under assault and a warp in is coming in.
That fight went a lot better than I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, attacking
That
into
flank
siege
was
tanks,
actually huge. That flank was so good.
just because of the amount of fire that it drew from FanTaSy's army.
Also,
Wow.
there was some splash. It was just a really, really good play.
Yeah, beautifully done by Deer there, and that drop is not going anywhere. Gumi's holding out hope, or FanTaSy's holding, son of a gun. FanTaSy is holding out hope, but that drop not going anywhere, and Deer still knocking
Yeah,
on
this
his
has got
front
to
door
be it.
here.
I don't know how you defend this.
Oh,
He wasn't able to defend it the first time. Actually, a little bit. That was a weird move with the Zealots. I actually think just committing would have been better. He should be able to defend. The drop's going to get shut down before anything happens. Oh, this has got to be it.
Denied at every turn, like me asking girls out for the junior prom. And Deer just getting crushed, man. Or Deer crushing here, FanTaSy into the natural. There's just nothing left. I think maybe
GG.
FanTaSy.
FanTaSy is known for his GG timings. You know that, right?
Of course, of course. Woo, GSL Cobalt.
Yeah.
Not going well. Deer choosing that map and making it work.
Yeah, this was Deer's pick, so FanTaSy can't feel too bad about a Cobalt map. I mean, obviously Deer had some plans going into it.
Yeah, how do you feel about FanTaSy's build there? Going for the
I feel like he didn't do anything wrong.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think he did anything wrong?
No. I mean, we talked about Cobalt a little bit and how large it was. Normally, to me, that tells me that I want to get some more tanks out a little bit early.
I mean, he
just to
literally
spread 'em out a
played
little bit.
passive and got attacked into. So,
That's true.
Like, what could you possibly do more to defend that?
I guess with the
build
amount of,
like 30 bunkers. Like,
yeah, with the amount of airspace, maybe try and get a drop in a little bit early. But
He
with the
tried,
with
though.
the early Phoenix, yeah,
yeah,
it's so tough.
there was literally nothing FanTaSy could have done better. I think.
Wow.
Like he was playing defensively and got attacked into. That is what you want.
It's so
and
nice
died.
to watch a game when you don't have to say, oh, did FanTaSy lose that one or did Deer win? When really,
Deer
that
just
was
won.
a clean Deer
Yeah.
win for that one. And FanTaSy didn't throw it away or anything, but really well executed by Deer, especially this micro. Now the next map, Turbo Cruise 84. These guys are picking my favorite maps all day long. What's FanTaSy going to do here on Turbo Cruise 84?
I think we see something similar, but it's a little bit harder to attack as a Protoss. I mean, you're going through these circles and just not as enjoyable of a game for the Protoss player to dictate. So this should be a lot better for FanTaSy, especially if he plays a passive style like he did last game.
Cool. Well, I'm really hoping FanTaSy wins just so we can get a game 3, man. I love a good game 3. Keep me here a little bit longer. Yeah, the inhibitor zones on Turbo Cruise 84.
Is that what they're called?
Yes.
You know what they're called?
Well,
you did your homework
I'm
then,
a
because
dope.
no pro gamer knows that, by the way.
It's because I cast a lot of Bronze League matches and there's nothing to cast for like half an
You're just
hour.
like, wow, look
so
at these
I'm like,
inhibitor
oh
zones.
yeah,
They're
what
so
is this
cool.
thing? So the pros seem to hate him when this map first came out in Season 2. Do the pros still hate him? They at least seem to be getting more comfortable with him. Let's take a look at it as we go into game number 2. All right, in the bottom left-hand corner, in the blue, playing Terran, it is
Pixel 1, FanTaSy.
not Gumiho. Not
Changed his name
Gumiho,
from.
not
They used to be
Gumiho.
Player One. Now they're Pixel One.
Correct.
Huh. And in the top right with some amazing execution.
Newbie, Deer.
So speaking on what you were saying,
Those inhibitor zones.
pro players don't like anything different, by the way.
Of course.
Doesn't matter what it is. Could be like anything. They just hate it. They hate change. They hate something different that they're not used to.
Yeah. So at the beginning of a series or at the beginning of a season, when you see those new maps come out, how long in your experience does it take before pro players are ready to say like, okay, now I'm used to this map. Now
It's
I'm
actually
comfortable.
not that long for me.
Okay.
And I have to imagine a lot of pro gamers
Well, I
are
mean,
similar.
how many of your games go beyond like 2.5 minutes?
You got me, my dude. You got me. Oh, that's the meme. How many? At least I got Code S twice though.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. So okay. So maybe I play more games than the average person. If that's where we're going.
No. But you genuinely put in a lot of these games, so you get used to them a lot more quickly.
Yeah, well, sure. So I think it usually takes about a week to be really comfortable. And also sometimes people find things that are abusive later on that you don't really think about.
Okay.
But I mean, your job as a pro gamer is to immediately try to abuse the map.
Sure.
To every extent that you can. So the first week is like just abusive stuff and abusive stuff getting shut down. It's actually my favorite period of StarCraft is the first week of new maps.
That wild, wild west.
There used to be, there was one time where there was a season of just, they called it Dream Pool. I don't know if you know or remember this. It was in like 2012.
Okay.
They brought back all of those weird maps, Metalopolis and Lost Temple and all of them just for one season. I was the highest ranked I've ever been. I think I was ranked 2 or ranked 1.
And everything. That's gorgeous. Okay. Yeah. Oh man, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, they brought back all the really crazy maps. Everybody hated it except for me. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Nobody can wall off.
Was that the first time you made GM?
No.
You were way before that?
Yeah, I got GM in 2011.
Okay.
2011 or 2012, early 2012. I was 14.
Man. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Where did I go with my talent?
I was in band camp when I was 14. That's what I was accomplishing.
Yeah, my parents used to limit me to 1 hour a day.
And mine too.
Yeah.
I remember my parents, I had an N64, and my parents limited me to 20 minutes a day. And my favorite game was Harvest Moon 64, but the days were 25 minutes long. So I would usually like play like 20 minutes of a day, and then my mom would come in and she wouldn't even warn me. She would just shut the N64 off.
Damn.
So I would.
You know what I used to do? I used to wake up at 3 in the morning and play it like from 3 to like 6 because I knew I could get away with that.
I only did that once in my life, and it was when I rented StarCraft 64.
You know what the best part about this is? As a Westerner,
Yeah.
what happens at 3 to 6 in the morning?
GSL.
Exactly.
Oh,
Time nailed. Perfect,
dude,
man.
you've got this.
Yeah, so I'd get home from school at like 5 p.m. and go to sleep.
Beautiful.
I had the perfect sleep schedule.
Dude, you got it figured out. Okay, so we should probably talk about the actual game that we're watching.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
Okay, well, so
I'm just kidding.
about the StarCraft 64 I was playing. No, okay,
Mine
so
drops,
yeah, and Robo against it.
which is fine. He's getting the Observer quick.
Sure.
This is pretty standard. I think the Phoenix will come in and scout it. And you don't usually lose a bunch to this. It's usually like, there's like this little micro game of like, I'm not going to lose probes. And he's like, yes, you are.
Right. The burrow
like,
and unburrow micro that he's trying to get done.
Just buy as much time and just be annoying as possible. But realistically, nobody expects to hit that juicy mine shot.
No, of course not.
Especially not against a player like Deer.
You just want to hear the whole crowd go, oh, oh, and then nothing happens.
Okay, he literally watches them load up.
Wow.
Like, there's
with
no
that
question.
hallucinated Phoenix, that's so funny. So another Stalker on the way. Tanks out of the 1-1-1 from FanTaSy.
Yeah, that might mean that we'll see a 2-base tank push or something. It kind of makes sense on this map because if you can set up in these inhibitor zones, as you call them,
Right.
it can be really annoying to engage into this.
Yeah,
He's
especially
also
with
seeing
tanks
a
on the other
Liberator.
side of them, right?
Yeah. It feels kind of obvious, though, so we'll have to see how this goes.
Well, Observer is going to get in here and see everything, and we'll see the Liberator pop out once it's set
Question
up.
is FanTaSy good enough?
To get the mine hits?
No, to just see that Observer existing.
Ooh, that's a good... I always wonder about that, how quick the... Because it's so funny, I cast the ASL yesterday, and I found myself so excited about watching both the players' boxes on the minimap to see what they were looking at and see where they were sending stuff.
You know what, I'm curious, because he sieges this up, sieged up the Observer.
Uh-huh.
I'm wondering if he saw the energy count, sieged it up, and then unsieged it when he realized the scans are going to be back online.
Ooh.
Because that would be insane.
That would be a big wrinkle brain play.
That's the only thing that makes sense, right? Because he sieged it and then sieged it. Look at
Ooh,
that!
nice pick. There it is. Question asked and answered.
Oh, FanTaSy. He's just so good. So FanTaSy knew it didn't have the scan, right? So that was definitely what happened.
That was great. Well, another one right behind it for Deer. And FanTaSy has started that third CC on the high ground. I'm wondering if Deer saw that with his Observer or if his Observer was already on the way out.
If Deer saw that, that's a pretty big tell. Okay.
Little
This
drop
might
coming in
do
here.
something here.
A Liberator, rather, not a drop. But Stalker's already on top of it. Might get a couple shots off on a Stalker, but...
You can just save that, though. That's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's being repelled right now.
Yeah, both is he sieging up on top of the other airship in the...
Yeah, he is indeed.
Fooled by the doodads on the
Actually,
map.
we might be out of position here. Is he going to build a bunker? He is, isn't he?
Oh.
Yeah, there it is. Bunker. This could be really annoying to deal with. Even if force and cancel, this is really good.
Oh, yeah. Immediate force the cancel and the pylon. The probe.
I honestly think you just back up now.
Oh, the probe makes it out. Attaboy, Probius.
Just back up. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. This is so good for FanTaSy.
What a good play.
Yeah, this is actually pretty good for Deer as well, though. Like, no commitment, canceled the CC or Nexus and built it back. Basically, what, lost 15 seconds? Like,
Sure.
that's not a big deal.
Yeah. FanTaSy did hit really early with that, so he didn't miss a ton.
Yeah, this game's going to even out. I still think that actually does favor Deer, because Deer looked so strong last game.
True. Okay, double engineering bay coming down for FanTaSy.
Oh, he found it again.
Sticking on bio, I guess. Nice, second Observer pick here, but Storm already on the way. I think Deer maybe a little bit ahead.
Oh, this is a little weird.
Oh, Tank's a little late to siege up there.
Yeah,
But
doesn't get punished for it.
the Tank's in a really weird position. Can Deer
Yeah,
just walk
and
right
he
by those
can, and
tanks?
then he can just recall,
no.
too.
This is going to be... Oh, the bunker does fill up. A couple SCVs already on top here. Okay, Deer eating some shots from the top of the tank on the high ground there.
This is okay. Nothing's going on that's too bad here.
This is great. I love when veterans players play each other because nobody does like a stupid commitment. You know, nobody jumps in and says, "Oh, I gotta win right now."
Yeah, I mean they're very, articulate with their decisions and stuff. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. More barracks getting added on for FanTaSy, but Storm about to finish up here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is going to be aggressive or defensive. It looks defensive, but at the same time, so did last game. Is he going to get these out?
Oh, gets one out.
That's fine.
Oh, Medevac makes it out alive.
Yeah, not bad. Nothing going on though, really.
Man, this is so interesting. Yeah, both these players playing very tactical. It reminds me of like the beginning of a chess game, you know, where both players are just really setting up for the long haul, trying to really feel out what their opponent's up to.
Nobody's like moving their queen across the map, and you're like, why are you doing this?
Yeah,
like, and then the queen just moves back, and you're like, nice, great play.
This is textbook, man. Double Immortal drops scouted. I'm sure FanTaSy probably moving into position here pretty quickly, I hope. FanTaSy moving into position here pretty quickly. FanTaSy?
Yeah. Oh, is he going to disable it?
Oh.
Is he going to get it disabled?
Oh.
Hello? Oh, he was baiting it. I think Deer was playing with fire. Okay.
Oh, I think you're right.
I think he was baiting the disable, and he was going to pick up the right before the disable went off.
That would have been so juicy.
Yeah, and FanTaSy was good enough to know he was... This was like a triple mind game.
That's incredible.
He was baiting it, and FanTaSy knew he was baiting it, so FanTaSy didn't go for it, even though he could have gone for it.
That's so cool. Oh, man. 7 gateways for Deer. Really getting into the mid game here.
That's a scary amount of gateways.
It really is. Now, Concussive Shell and Stim going to finish up before any of these gateway pressures really hit. Deer doesn't have anything forward on the map. That Warp Prism is still alive, though, so he can probably put some pressure on the new third here of FanTaSy. And Deer's got a 4th behind this.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if Deer goes for this timing attack that he went for last game.
Sure.
I think it's a lot worse on this map, and FanTaSy seems a bit better set up.
Do you have a count on how many Templar are out on the map right now? Have they all been made into Archons?
At least 4. There's the 4 in that Warp Prism.
Does he have 4 in the Warp Prism?
Yes.
Oh, well, obviously, right on
that
screen.
That is a Templar shuttle.
Oh, baby. Oh, man.
And he's going for it, too. He's going to be aggressive.
Man, speaking of aggressive, this medevac with 1 hit point held together with duct tape and Mother's Spit. There's nothing that's going to keep that thing alive.
Oh, just the airspace will keep it alive, I guess.
Thank goodness. Ghost Academy, Armory.
Okay.
But, yeah, big push here.
We get attacked into, and again, through our inhibitor zones, as you call them again.
Yes. You're picking up on this terminology. I love it.
I'll be amazed if this actually works. This is not the same as last game.
This is exactly the scenario you talked about before, where the
yeah, but this time we're going through circles, and there's like 7 tanks on the other side.
Yeah, man. Ooh, this would be a big blunder from Deer.
Oh my God, where's our army going though?
He's setting up for a flank around the outside, maybe.
He's just posturing weirdly.
Okay, yeah, very strange.
He would never just be like, oh, I'm gonna leave my tanks all by themselves.
All completely naked.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. A lot of shots going down.
God.
The Dorito cannon on a massive, and some storms going down, but not the storms he wanted there. Almost no bio hit by those storms. There's one in the back. The Dorito cannon.
It's taking so long for any zealots to come out. There's no flank like the last game either. I don't see this working, but maybe there's a lot of really nice storms.
Getting a lot of tank shots. A nice EMP went down on the.
Oh, that's a big storm too.
Yeah, pushing it back to the third though. Deer does still have
another storm. If he has one more storm, it's gonna be a really big hit. Okay, he doesn't get it.
He does have. There it is. One more storm. Oh my gosh! Is Deer just gonna do it
again?
You're kidding me. Driving the third base out, Templar still alive, auto-attacking their little hearts out onto that other command center, forcing a cancel. The SCV's pulled as well. FanTaSy falling apart at the seams here.
Yeah, this has to be a really frustrating loss if you're FanTaSy. Because again, he's just sitting there, and you attack into him, and you're like, you're not supposed to be able to do that. Like, I've got 9 tanks or whatever.
Right, through the slow zones, the inhibitors. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so behind this, we see +2/+2 on the way for FanTaSy, trying to get a tank out some more bio. But Deer is on his front door. He did lose the Warp Prism, so he's going to have to reinforce from back home.
I mean, maybe if he loses all the Templar and stuff here, like, this could be bad. Nice storm, but I don't see any way of him coming back after losing this many SCVs and this much army supply.
Second storm, feedback on that Raven. There's no tanks left, 18 SCVs going down. This is incredible. Deer crushing through FanTaSy in a 2-0.
Yeah, he does not have vision, but it doesn't really matter.
Couple reinforcements
23 workers to 76.
Archons more